Mildred Walshaw, Lady Gold Miner, by Lorraine Kelly, thegoldfieldstories.com.
Mildred was the only permanent resident of the ghost town of Comet Vale. She was most likely the only active woman prospector with her own gold mine in Australia in 1957. She was born in 1896 in Yellowdine, just outside Southern Cross. Her mother was travelling on a camel to Hannans, now called Kalgoorlie Boulder, after a trip to Melbourne. She thought she would reach Hannans well before the birth of her child, but it did not turn out that way. After a few months at Coolgardie, they finally arrived at Hannans. Her father was Dan Baker, who discovered gold at Comet Vale in 1894. 2 years prior to her birth, he was with Frank and Ned Moss when he climbed Mount Baker, 67 miles north of Kalgoorlie, to find water for their horses. He saw a granite outcrop with a waterhole, now known as Little Rocks. On his way back to the others, he passed a quartz outcrop, knocked the cap off the reef which exposed rich gold. He made a claim called the Lady Margaret. Mildred recalled looking down the shaft when it was only 10 feet deep, and seeing gold shining from the bottom. Her father later sold the Lady Margaret for £32,000. Other diggers followed, and in a few years there was a thriving mining community. It was named Comet Vale after a comet that was visible in the sky at the time. There were fine homes, bush shanties, 3 churches, shops, a post office, school and pub. When she was 17, her father bought a sheep property in the Midlands, but farm life did not suit her. She soon left for Perth and became a dressmaker. She met her husband when she was 27 and he was an electrical engineer. They went to Kalgoorlie where he worked on mines as an electrician and she had a dressmaking shop. They soon decided to try prospecting. Her husband readily admitted that she was the better prospector, as she had learned a lot from her father. They never struck it rich, but they never went hungry. In 1926 they returned to Comet Vale and took up a lease called Cooniga. Her husband died suddenly of a heart attack while running for a tram in January 1944. He was working as an electrician at the North Kalgoorlie mine while she lived at Comet Vale mining. From that time she worked her Cooniga alone. She lugged gelignite into the rocks, then broke it down further with a crowbar, hammer and gad before hauling it to the surface with a windlass. She used to haul up an 8-gallon drum full of ore, but at age 61 she could only manage half a drum. In the morning she attended to her daily chores and would spend half a day mining. She never remarried, but in 1950 she did take action against Charles Burrows for breach of promise to marry. The Cooniga was named after her father. He had bright red hair which fascinated the Aboriginals. He was friendly with them, and they called him Coonshaga, meaning red fellow. He was also known for playing an accordion while riding his camel. In 1957, her eyesight was failing and she was keen to sell her lease to move to Perth for treatment. There is a grave in the Leonora Cemetery of a Mildred Mary Walshaw, dated the 29th of March 1979.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe. To keep in touch, please like and follow Goldfield Stories Facebook page or subscribe to the website blog at goldfieldstories.com. Thank you.